Oh, hello. All right. That song gets stuck in my head often. Well, if there's any lurkers in chat, today we're going to be running through building a TTRPG from scratch. Originally, there is in JFace's Discord, there is a bunch of prompts to kind of roll on a table and figure out exactly, or rather like challenge yourself to design something from scratch. It has a whole bunch of different tables for like themes and goals, maybe. Can't remember. But I really wanted to test how comfortable I would be doing something from scratch without those specific limitations. So the stream is really just testing the water and figuring out if we can do something from scratch very, very quickly. That being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. So thinking about a TTRPG, I'm going to hit the clock now. It's currently 4:02 my time, so by 6:02, our time will have elapsed. Just going to put a little note up here. Hopefully that's not a proverb or something. And then I'm just going to kind of run through design conceptually, and then we'll package it and do something else. Hey, old elf. Yeah, so if as I'm going through this, it kind of depends on how much participation there is in chat, but I thought that it would be fun to ask about themes, concepts, that sort of thing that you'd like to see packaged in a tabletop role-playing game. Again, very quick. We build out a design, figure out what kind of dice system that we would like to use, if one at all, and just make something fun. I think the end result would probably be like a one-page document, like a game that you can just take and play. Maybe like 2 pages. I guess we'll see, but we'll see what we shake out with. So the first thing that we want to do is maybe think about goals for the game, how you have fun, what decisions you make, how you win. So these are the 3. Yeah, they're Henry. And then to drill down a little bit, we'll go for like themes. We'll go for dice system. This really comes down to the choices we want players to make, and how we want the system to feel and that sort of thing. And we'll just go from here. So themes. Let's start with that. What would be an interesting kind of a general, I guess, fantasy, sci-fi, modern, cyberpunk, steampunk. If somebody has an example of, like, I guess, a setting for the world, feel free to throw that out, and we'll work off of it. Themes could be like dark. It could be uplifting. It could be heroic. It could be about conquering adversity. It could just be about shenanigans. Open to everything. If don't get any responses in the chat, I'm just going to make something up, and then we'll go from there. We'll think about what sort of who is the player in this world. Is this game single player or cooperative? Cooperative or competitive? Question mark. So all those are potential options. Let's see. Fantasy, sci-fi. Cyberpunk would still be sci-fi. Or you can do like, you know, exploration. Or we can deal with monsters. These are all settings. Okay. If anybody has any ideas to throw out, now is the time to do that. You just want to word vomit in chat. It's totally fine too. I'll just pick up the pieces of vomit. Oh, okay. Henry wants a roguelike TTRPG where everybody eventually dies in session 1. Interesting. Mars is looking for an episodic dungeon crawler. Also interesting. Okay. Let's see. Setting. Dungeon crawler. Interesting. Okay. So these are probably more like themes. Cool. I dig it. I like the dungeon crawler idea. And I don't know that that's necessarily opposed to the idea of doing everyone eventually dies in session 1 either. So what if we blended those two? Old Elf likes single player. Don't have a lot of people to play with, and I want to. Only way I can experience any sort of D&D is through smaller single player spin-offs. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's do single player, or I say single player or cooperative. So with that being the case, we would have to create a system where you can make checks and resolve those checks without needing the response from somebody else. So that's either in a table that you're rolling against, or it could be you could set your skills could have their own target number to overcome, and then if you roll against yourself, basically, then you pass those sorts of checks. So that's interesting. What kind of setting? So I think dungeon crawler is kind of a setting in itself, but I think that you could still do like a sci-fi dungeon crawler would be interesting. Just some examples: steampunk. Let's do horror, or I guess eldritch horror could be a setting as well. You could play at 2 levels. One character is when he sends heroes into the dungeon. The other is are the levels of those heroes. You can play at 2 levels. One character. Oh, interesting. Got it. Huh. It's a fun concept. Somebody pull me out a setting, or you can all kind of call out a setting, and we can see where we end up. Who's the player in this world? Yeah, we'll figure that out. But I'm thinking to single player. I think VTS in this case, we would just say it's just it could just be you. It's just kind of rolling dice and seeing where you end up. There's a bunch of TTRPGs that exist that are like single player adventures. I'm sure they're way more fleshed out than anything that we're going to be doing here, but we could totally make something for single player, or we can try to. Henry says, or the heroes are part of the equation, could be the town that benefits from the sacrifice contribution of dying adventurers. At the end of that's really intriguing, because what if the town was like you send people into the dungeon to feed like some monster that lives there, because the town worships the monster that lives there. As for the rolls, I like dice pools because they allow near infinite. Yeah. We could do a whole discussion on that. I think that it'd be fun to try to stick with just D6s, if it's possible. But maybe, I forget who the author of Mythic Bastion Land and Into the Odd is. But he was saying that, and I don't agree with this, but he was saying that it's kind of a weakness when a system has to use something other than a d6. I'm paraphrasing. And I don't agree because different dice have different feelings to them, which is, to me, a big part. Okay, so dungeon crawler, roguelite, adventurer, feed them to the golden throne. Let's, okay, so let's say this is a single player adventure. Let's say that you are, what if you're not an adventurer? What if you're a townsfolk? Like somebody from the town. Well, I really like the idea of just like luring in adventurers to go solve this problem, and then they just keep disappearing. But really, it's the town that's putting them up to it. That is a really funny concept to me. Which also kind of, it makes me ask, who's the big bad in that case then? So is the... okay, let's start with the thesis. Go back up to the top. We're going to say that blank game name is a fantasy dungeon crawler where the player is an adventurer being unwittingly sacrificed to a what? To a hungry beast dwelling beneath the town. Is that compelling? As a fantasy dungeon crawler where the player is an adventurer being unwittingly sacrificed to a hungry beast dwelling beneath the town. Maybe. Certainly a mouthful. I don't know. We can roll with that. It almost seems too generic for me at this point, which sounds really weird. So I kind of want to like twist it. And let's expound on that and say their goals. Player let's see. The adventurer struggles to survive multiple rooms of increasing difficulty until they eventually encounter the beast. I want to call it something other than a beast. Like a consuming, maybe devouring horror. Okay, so here's our premise. We could change this too, but I think that's a pretty good place to start. Henry says, I'm wondering if there's some progression thing that could carry over. Oh, interesting. If the adventurers die, the next character you roll will somehow have access to more things depending. Okay, cool. So that's where the roguelite element comes in. I dig that. What if, so get this. What if on the way, the adventurer leaves behind gear that your new character then picks up? So maybe they don't start immediately with everything, but they, oh, well, okay, so if you wanted to get real weird, you could put this in a time loop where when the player dies, You ever see Edge of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise is constantly like in a position where he has to go into a battle and then he dies, but he gets sent back in time and then has to go through it again, but he knows how he died the last time, so he's like trying new things, and each time he's gathering more information about what's in the next room, or rather what's like what's different. Yes, great movie, I love it. It's very, very good. um okay, let's just throw in themes. Edge of Tomorrow, time travel. It's not really, I mean, it kind of is. Okay, so maybe I wonder if your character, see, how do you convey that though if it's a single player game? Do you have a table and then it like you roll on the table and then it creates the what's in the next room? And maybe you build out like a node map where like you only learn information once you get into the next room. And at that point, you also have an encounter to face. But if you go to, but when you start back at the beginning, you already know exactly where everything else is. So you can maybe prepare or explore different avenues and then kind of find a way to optimize. Like, so if you enter a room that you know has an easy encounter, you could probably start there and then go, okay, I'm thinking, it's still shaky in my mind though. Oldolf says, what if a character is stuck in a time loop where the devouring horror knows about the loop and lives outside of it, only to constantly feed on the hero that becomes stronger and stronger with it? Only to constantly feed on a hero that becomes stronger. Oh, that's fun. It could be done with a deck of cards that you shuffle, perhaps. Maybe that'd be too linear. Okay, so when we think about the structure, maybe, and we'll get back to the resolution mechanics, but maybe we, so imagine it like a branching path. You have a starting point. So the player builds a map to the boss. What if there's a way to win this game where you need to collect special items? You have 3 things, right? Like beating Strahd, where you would go get the Holy Avenger, and you'd go get this other thing, and then you'd go get this other thing, and then you'd be prepared. I'm never really partial to that sort of thing myself, but, or like in Doom, where you need all the key cards to unlock the next place. But what if the boss has a set of weaknesses? Like, I'm gonna backburner that for a little bit. Okay, so player builds a map to the boss by going room by room. Each room has 7 MacGuffin shards, yeah. See, each room has a... What if each room had like a different difficulty to it, and you have to chain them all together? I'm trying to imagine how you could take this room or like a map and then build it out in a way that is okay. By going room to room. Let's see. I'm trying to think about functionally how you do this. If you have a starting node, you're always there. The villagers close the door behind you. You know that's what happens. Boom. You begin there. And then maybe there's always... let's see, maybe there's always like 3 rooms. 3 different directions. So you go, you know, let's see, like, is this going to make sense? Okay, here, we'll do this in Photoshop instead. Okay. So let's say this. Let's say that you have, so you start here, right? And we're gonna go, maybe there's like, well, okay. So maybe you can go 3 different directions every single time. Well, maybe we actually just give them a map and then they fill in the blanks on the map. And actually, okay, we're gonna do this like a Dota lane. And let's see. And then the player doesn't know exactly what's in each room until they've been there. So we give them just like a very easy map to understand. When the player enters a room, they roll on it to see what's actually in the room. And these rooms are going to have different items that make them themselves, or rather that they need to collect to then fight the big bad. And then I think just for fun's sake, we're going to say that the big bad is in one of 3 rooms at the end, and you just don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We could probably just limit it to 1, but we're going to start here to figure it out. It'd be kind of funny if the big bad kind of moved around, but I think that's probably too much. Mid or feed, yeah, exactly. It's just a Dota map, and so the player is going to figure out what lives in what's in these rooms, question mark. Okay, I'm gonna just do a little bit of this action right here. And we'll go back down to our TTRPG Speed Run, and we'll do something like this. Okay. Let's see. You need some branching nodes for sure. If I stick to the deck of cards, they to generate a dungeon, you probably stick those branching cards face up. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I can see that. What if we give them VTS says you find a book that's asked to be read each time you do your time restarts, but one time you turn the book over, where it states you do not read the book. That's funny. Let's see. Cool. So the 3 items that we're going to give them to, okay, so the boss is going to have, and you're not going to know this, maybe, until you meet the boss. But the boss is to have 3 weaknesses. In those 3 weaknesses, you can roll on a table. Is that really necessary? I think we're probably overcomplicating it. I'm 25 minutes in. Player map. Okay, well, let's say that they roll on a table. This is going to be just a bunch of tables kind of in general. Maybe this is the... Yeah, I like the idea of the character not knowing what the boss is until they get there. Because maybe they can like move through the map pretty quickly and then fight the boss. But they also... But I don't want them to be able to kill the boss. You know, so maybe it's like scouting. You're figuring it out. And then you have to figure out what rooms have what in it. Okay, so roll on a table. The weaknesses is going to be just super easy. Fire, acid, cold, steel, hurt feelings. Actually, we'll say more specific. So like maybe one of them is afraid of its reflection. So like it has a mirror, or maybe like you need, maybe they don't have weaknesses. Maybe they have attacks. Roll on a table. Because then we could flesh out the boss at the same time. So like a one has a petrifying gaze. It might also have an immolating aura. It could also have a gaping maw. Like how would you deal with a gaping maw? Probably wear like really spiky armor or something like that, so it just can't devour you. And coming up with 3 weaknesses is going to be a big deal. What if it has wings? Kind of flies around. Maybe this is like a dungeon, but it's not really a dungeon. Some of it's kind of more open than that, like cavernous. Finding the boss can definitely inform the player what kind of decisions that we make in navigating the dungeon. Yeah. Let's see. VT says instead of 3 choices, how about rolling 3 outcomes per step? Interesting. Hey, J-Face. Safe bonus blocker. Interesting. Yeah, I could definitely see like a difficulty curve. Maybe like some rooms are just less difficult, but I think in this particular case, just the concept that we're rolling off of, we can create let's give them a challenge in every room so that they can kind of repeat it, figure out what's the one that they can easily overcome, and then jump into like start there. And I think that after every room, maybe they get something after every room. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay. So what other? Let's see. Instead of weaknesses, is going to have 3. Let's say it's 2 for the sake of my sanity. No. Okay. Never mind. 3 attacks. Okay. And then these are countered by certain things. So like a petrifying gaze is countered by a mirror. An immolating aura is probably countered by. Maybe there's like an ice staff that they can use. A gaping maw might be countered by like spiked armor. And I imagine that all of these things you would get off of either an enemy encounter, or maybe some of the rooms are like puzzle rooms where you have to figure out, well, I don't know. It kind of depends on what our dice resolution system is. We'll figure that out. Wings, maybe we need like a rope. We're going to call it like a silver rope. And let's see, is there any... Big one, please. Is there any more... If anybody has ideas for what sort of main challenges this boss could have, please let me know. But let's see. As far as dice systems, something that I was kind of interested in exploring. It's starting to look like the whole dungeon is puzzle when you think about it. Yeah. Yeah, I might be getting a little bit into the weeds too. Because we could also just make this super easy, where it's just like, yeah, you need one armor piece, and you need one weapon, and you need one, item of wonder. Old Elf says, since the boss eats you every turn, what if his HP is retained loop by loop? And there's a mechanic where he heals a bit every time he eats a hero. Must chip away his HP enough. Interesting. To compensate. Oh, okay. Oh, that's... Yeah, I wonder how complex we want to make this, though. Because, again, let's try to keep it 1 to 2 pages. So super, super simple. Okay, so one dice system that I was like kind of excited about when I was, I'm sure this is done elsewhere, but I was like having dreams and thinking about it. But so what if your health pool is your is more like your, okay, well, let me just explain it this way. Let's say your health pool is 3d6. These are literal die that you roll. Let's say that a creature has a defense that you need to overcome in order to damage it. And we could, like, damage doesn't necessarily need to be like they don't need to have actual health. Say like the actual die or your health. And then every time, because I just addicted to dice chains, every time you roll a 1, okay, let me back up. So a creature has a defense that you need to beat. You roll a number of, so you choose how many of your health die to roll, and the result becomes your attack against that creature. Simple. So if you, so for 3d6 on the high end, you're looking at what 18 is the absolute maximum that you can do. So what if the creature's defense is like a 4? So as an example, what if the defense is a 4? If you roll 1d6, you have, what is it, like a 40% chance, I feel like that's wrong, like a 60% chance of beating, of meeting or beating the 4. So, or rather, I'm sorry, a 60% chance. It'd be like a 20% chance of rolling it. Man, I feel that like that's wrong. Okay, well, I'm no good at math, but we could work it out. So you would choose to roll your health pool die in order to try to damage this creature. And anytime that you rolled a 1 on one of your health pool die, that die gets degraded to a d4. So then you're, and what it represents would be like, okay, you're going in for an attack. The more that you put yourself at risk, the more likely you are to overcome the monster. But the more die that you use, the higher your chances of rolling a 1 on them. Which means that, so for example, when it comes to combat in like real life, if you're fencing, or imagine like samurai who like clash swords, and one of them walks away cut, realistically, and both people are going to get hurt when you clash like that. So what if your health pool represents your attack, but also the risk that you're putting yourself in? So 4 to 6, thank you. Okay, so your health pool can be a number of die, and you can like gain more die. Maybe you like find a potion, and it's okay, it's like might or something, and it makes you Oh, JFA says only at the time there's the tomorrow part. Ever play Time Stories, the Quantum Leap style board game? No, I have not. But a Quantum Leap style board game sounds really interesting to me. I'm usually not a fan of time travel, like in general, but Quantum Leap was like one of those series where I think they did it well because it wasn't like constantly subverting my expectations and like rechanging the storyline and like throwing out everything I knew just to put something new in. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Is every time you enter a room, you roll to see what's there. What if we gave them a list of monsters, and these monsters, or like challenges, puzzles, whatever. So like a monster with 2 defense, easy room. Monster with 4 defense, moderately challenging. You know, a monster with 6 defense. Probably need to roll 1 more die to like kill this. Moderately challenging room, or like super challenging room. And what if, for example, just contrast, what if the boss had like you needed to hit him 3 times, and they, in order to hit them, the target number was like a 14, you know, or something like that, or like something really, really high. In order to do that, maybe like you'd have to find some sort of way to boost your strength, and you'd need to figure out how to conserve your strength through the rest of the dungeon so that you don't end up in a situation where you're just rolling d4s. Maybe to VTS's point, maybe there's a room that's just like, okay, this is the fountain room. And we'll say that your health pool die all increase by 1 size. Maybe there's a, let's see, maybe you get like a special item like the, so like we talked about the ice staff before, maybe that's just like, it gives you a d4 on top of your attacks that just never goes away. So now I'm thinking like, what is the, we should probably make like a list of items and what they do. One-time use items. The treasures in the dungeon would probably help you overcome specific encounters. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I feel like this is getting a little bit loose at the moment, but I'm gonna let's see, let's tie it together. Okay. All right, so the starting point, the player builds a map to the boss by going room to room. Each room has a challenge to overcome, and or an item to recover. Maybe there's not, maybe sometimes it's just a challenge, so you have to figure out a way around it, or figure out whether or not you want to contest it. Each room. Okay. Let's see what else. Here's my list of items. Okay, we'll just do every time you enter a room, you'll roll to see what's there. This is going to get obnoxious, but any time you place a then you cross that result off the list I don't know if this is like the way to do it, but imagine, if I have a list of like 20 different things, and then the rooms are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and then we could probably cut 10. So if we have 20 different things, oh, but I guess you need certain items to beat the boss. What if, okay, if it escalates in difficulty, like these rooms could all be one thing, the middle rooms could all be one thing, and the end rooms can all be one thing, and then the boss rooms can all be one thing. Like they can all have different tables. You have clue M tables, like you build a boss as you go, something, maybe in the room you roll a clue table. Clue is linked to a small binary result, meaning you know the monster has X. Oh, okay. Okay, I like that idea better. That puts some of these pieces in place. So it's not that the monster has the different attacks. It's that we find 3 items in the dungeon somewhere, and then it means that the monster is this thing that we're then going to overcome just by rolling dice. That's way simpler. I like it. Okay, so let's just build out a bunch of other things that they can overcome. Let's say, what if each room has, because you don't want to hit the player with like super difficult stuff right at the gate, unless you do, unless it doesn't actually matter. Because if you have a limited number of encounters and a limited number of bosses or challenges, then you'd always end up in a situation where you're going to get weak stuff at some point. Mars says I'd make the leaving work, like you can leave, but there's a monster in there. You can get a free hit. Yeah, I'm wondering if you should just be stuck there for the sake of simplicity, because by our premise, you're going to die, and then you try on the next life, right? And then you know it's in the room, and you can go to a different room, or you can approach it when you have, like, go get the thing that you know is in this room, and then go back, and then take on the challenge again. Let's see. So let's do it this way. If you roll a 1, it's a monster. If you roll a monster, fountain, we're gonna say that this is, oh, I guess if we want to use D6s, I can do 3 lists. Sorry, I'm being scattered right now. 3 lists. And on each room, it's going to get, let's see, it's going to get more difficult. Man, I'm really having a hard time stringing this together, and I just need to like do it. It's already 44 minutes in. Not even to the formatting yet. Let's see, fountain room, or you get like wondrous item. I guess we can actually just like label the items too. That's probably fine. But you're only ever going to find 1 item in these 3, in one of these rooms. Or rather, does that make sense? Each tier of play. Okay, we'll do that. There's 3 tier. I'm going to clean it up, I promise. 3 tiers of rooms. Tier 1. It's your easy stuff, mostly easy. Roll 1d6 and to determine what's in the room. You're gonna, let's say 1 is a monster, 2 is also a monster, 3 is a fountain room, which boosts health, like we said. And let's do, let's see. But how do they get the items though? Do we just like bake in a rule that say like, okay, if you have an unexplored room in this area, it's always going to have the item. It could be a way that we do it, or we just say like, we could say that the first monster you kill gets you an item. Let's see. I'm having a rough go of it. Let's say we'll use a safe room, like VTS was saying. Nothing to speak of. There's nothing in this room. But that's a benefit too, you know, that you can go there without running in. The red cylinder of extinguishing, I dig it. Each tier has one item that's needed to be the boss. You need each boss, and you need each boss beating item from each tier. Yeah, I would say so, because then you have them like looking. It's like, okay, it's not here, and they can try to figure out where it's at. And then once they do, they'll know. But then there's like, okay, what if there's a really hard encounter here, and then later they figure out that the item's up here? Well, they could probably like avoid this altogether, and next time like go here to get this item, then come back around to get this item, and figure out how they want to progress through the this little node dungeon. Let's say monster, and let's say that there's a key item. And here's the caveat. The last unexplored room in a tier always has the key item if it wasn't already discovered. Okay. And actually you could just straight up keep rolling this the entire time. The same table. But yeah, and then you could say that the numbers could be like let's say defense 2. It's a gaggle of imps. Defense gaggle of imps. Wait, defense 2. Hit once. Defense 4. Hit twice. There's a gargoyle in there for some reason. I don't know. It's where I'm thinking like old school Renaissance stuff at this point. Maybe the defense is 2, but you got to hit it twice. And it's like you know, baleful hounds or something. Die by 1 size boosts. All current health die by 1 size. Okay. Is this making sense, or am I like totally off my nut right now? Tier 1 is easy. This is the thing that happens. Boom, boom. These are all easy encounters, but some you'd have to do twice. What happens when you don't roll? Okay, let's walk back to the dice system and resolution. So health pool is 3. Well, it's composed of d6s to start. Rolling a 1 on a d, or rolling 1 on a, no, that's not right. When you enter a room, you make an attack against a monster by choosing how many health die to roll. Just cleaning this up at this point. Okay, so when you enter a room, you make an attack against a monster. If you miss, actually, it doesn't even matter if you miss. So anytime you roll a 1 on one of, or on a die, it gets demoted in size once. If you roll a 1 on a d4, your that die is removed from your pool. Thanks, J-Face. I think that my speech is pretty stilted in general nowadays. I don't know why. I need to practice speaking more. But I'm glad it sounds good sped up. Let's see. If you roll a 1 on a d4, the die is removed from your pool. So we need to figure out, I'm just going to call this a wondrous item. That's fine. Key item. Okay, and then we need to come up with a key item list. And we're just going to say that there's 6 that exist in the game to make it easy. So we have the mirror, which I guess you don't, I guess it doesn't really even matter what items do at this point. It's more just for like a small fantasy flavor thing. It could be the same item every time if you just wanted to fight the boss. Because if you know that you have like a thing now, X thing that you needed, then it's just, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't play into anything. Unless those particular items all have, let's just roll with that because we're already like an hour in. We'll keep it simple. So the items, we're just going to say that they're all flavor. We could even call them like key items if we want, or maybe we'll make them thematic. We'll say that you need to get like the banishing blade, and you need to get the the heroes. Oops. Nope. Heroes. Aegis. Or the Aegis of Dales. And what else? It's like the Golden Fleece. It's a chalice of vitality that you drink from. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. What are the choices currently? Which path? Fight or not? Find all items, or just a few before horror? Yeah, I think we're operating under the assumption currently to get all the items before fighting the boss. I think it's a little bit more fun if you figure out what the boss is and then retroactively have to figure out what items you need, because at that point, if we had like a whole item list, and if you're getting an item every single encounter or every single room, you could have just a whole stockpile of things, but you might not know what's actually useful for the boss. Actually, in that case, maybe the players would just feel like they need to constantly clear all the rooms, which would be boring as well. Okay, well, I'll keep working through it and we'll see what happens. We'll just say right now that this is like there's 3 items down here from like past adventurers, and you are the only Tom Cruise that's stuck in this time loop, able to try to achieve them. Is the health the clock then? Yes. Yeah, it absolutely would be. Because I think just like rolling your own health pool as the attack helps you figure out what route you should take. It's also a little kind of, it's a little bit whack because then it is just up to like a dice roll, right? Where if you roll poorly, you're just in a bad place for that run, which maybe that can adjust your outcome or your decision making too. But we'll start with this and then see where it falls over, and if we have time, loop back around. But okay, so when you enter a room, you make it attack. If a monster exists, you make an attack against them by choosing how many health die to roll. Anytime you roll a 1, gets demoted in size. Roll a 1 on d4, dies removed from your pool. Okay. I think that's it. It's a very simple game at this point. I'm just gonna get rid of all of everything else. Okay, so what else do we have to do? We have to figure out how each room works and what the balance is based on the die rolls. This is an interesting one to me because it might not. Well, okay. Determine what's in the room. Scratch the result off the list. Hey, Koki. Is the quest to restart time? Interesting. It could be. Maybe the end boss is the one that's kind of like locked you down in this loop, or maybe you're like a fated hero. So you roll 1d6. What's in the room? Scratch off the result. Oh, wait. You can't use the same result twice. Just twice makes sense, right? Okay. Okay, and let's say that it's all monsters at this point. There's no puzzles because of the dice resolution that we're using. So it's very one-dimensional, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so the defense is 6. So you're going to have to roll. You're either like really roll the die and figure out. Okay. Well, anyway, hit once. It's going to be a golem. Has high defense. And we're going to say that there's another, like, I can hit this one once. It's also going to be like let's say you hit them twice. And then what you can do, like spiders. Maybe not. Let's do some element. I want to do like methods and stuff and imps, but we already have those. Golem, man, what am I thinking? Let's do like an arcane trap. Like destroying this trap. So it's like, I guess it's a puzzle room at that point. I don't know. It works. I think it's fine. And what about the 500 plus features absolutely required in order to make a character? Yeah. We are going super rules light in this 2-hour window. We have 1 hour remaining. Let's see if we can pull that off. Fountain room, we'll just keep it in. And see if that's the case. I feel like we could probably... Part of me feels like this doesn't even need to be tiered at this point. You could probably get away with just rolling a d20 and scratching stuff off the list. Okay, well. Oh, take it easy, J-Face. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, talk about the crafting systems, right? Okay, so monster, we're going to say that there's no... I don't know. I kind of want to just combine this all into... I kind of want to combine it all into the same room. The same... We're going to do that. It's a bad idea, but we're gonna do it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're going to go up to... okay, again, I want to roll d6s. That's where I keep getting hung up. Okay, it's fine. Let's see. Boosts all current health. Okay, and we're going to say that the last tier 3, just doesn't have a... like, there's no safe room. It's all monsters all the way down. I'm gonna say we can just keep this here. We're gonna say you have to hit it twice, so really like wear you down. You could use easy stuff too. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Let's see. This is a it's a douchey little magic mirror. Let's talk us back. You gotta hit it. You hit once. Maybe, I don't know. Sleeping giant. And there's... do another little monster. I think that we can... yeah, the difficulty... I kind of wonder how much it matters if you're constantly rolling. Oops. DC 24, that sounds like a bad idea. Hit once. And then we'll go to... somebody give me a monster idea. My brain's not working. Defense 2. Okay, so then you could get lucky on this tier, but there's no safe room, so it is what it is. Actually, what if you don't even get the key items? What if there's just like a thrice? Let's hit this creature thrice. Oh, what if it's like a Sphinx who's just punishing you? Actually, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be a whole horde of skeletons. Horde of skeletons. Angry spider, giant worm, slime ball. Okay. Let's do slime ball. And angry spider. Actually, I like giant worm. Slightly different. Okay. Cool. All right, we did it. We made the game. We're done. Wait, not yet. What's the boss? So the target number, if you were on a perfect run, if you sacrificed no die, you would go from, I guess okay. I guess I don't really need to use just d6s if we're already asking them to like promote and demote die. Let's do... You know what? We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, 18. Uh, 20. We'll do another monster. This is no difficulties anymore. It's just all going to be, it's just utter chaos. Okay, and then hit this one once too. Or maybe say DC 8. So you have to use 2 die, and it's like just a towering metal towering metal tower. There we go. We did it. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna say it's a whole tower that wants to stomp on you. It's a walking tower. A giant ghostly spider worm covered in slime. Dig it. There you go. So the boss, which is this devouring horror. The target number. Okay, so best case scenario, you don't roll a 1 on any die, and you get 2 of the fountain rooms, which are 1, 2. Okay, so you'd have 3 d10, which means that the maximum possible number that you can get is a 30. It's your target number. I'm not doing any of the likelihoods, but we're going to say that the target number is 15, so you cut it in half. And what would be the lowest that you can possibly get? I mean, you can have 1d4, so you're obviously going to just die at that point. Excuse me. Actually, if you get down to a d4, you won't even be able to hit certain things. So that makes me wonder, since none of this is above an 8. Okay. Let's say that okay. So 1d200 to determine what's in the room. You can't use the same results twice. So they roll the d20. This is what they end up with. I'm asking them to use a lot of different dice at this point. If you ever have less than 3 d4, I think you die. I think you lose. Does that make sense? Maybe not. Let's see. Hold on. So how do you die? If you run out of die in your health pool, or if you run into a monster that you can't overcome, that you can't mathematically overtake, you die and restart at the beginning of the dungeon with all knowledge of what exists in the rooms, but without any of the progress of defeating of clearing the rooms or obtaining the items. Okay. How to play. Ish, kind of. the defense of the devouring horror is, I'm gonna say it's 12. So it's 12, but needs to be hit 3 times. Does that make sense? No. What if the devouring, because then why do I actually need the items? I mean, is it just like, okay, if you don't have the items, then you know, screw you, you're dead. Let's say, we'll go this direction. Each item adds 1d6 to your health pool, to your current health pool. So when we say that this horror has 30, it needs to be hit 3 times. Does that make sense? Each item adds, wait, no, 1d6. Item's going to have a single use effect that you can expend in an encounter. Interesting. Okay. I like that. That's fun. Because then you could save them for the boss. Or you can try to get yourself out of a bad situation. Okay. Each item can be used once and adds 1d6 to an attack. After using the item, you no longer benefit from it. I think just give them the 1d6. Or maybe you use one for the room that you're in. Each item can be used. Each item can be used an item can be used only in one room. Adds 1d6 to your attacks during it. After leaving you can use more than one item at the same time, but you lose any used items after, or rather, when you leave the room. Okay, it's done. I don't know if the balance is good. Let's play it. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go to my big dumb face for a little bit. And let's see if we can find a dice roller. And I'm going to set up. Can I do this in a way that won't be obnoxious? Here, how about this? Somebody else roll die for me. And we'll see how that goes. Is somebody down for that? Hold on. Cool. So we'll do it this way. And we'll walk through this room. Let's do a new one from scratch. Keep it kind of clean. All right. So we're playing our game now, functionally. We begin here. B is for begin. You got a 4. Okay, so let's say that, okay, well, no, I'm just gonna end up redrawing everything again. It's gonna look cleaner this time. Okay, so we're gonna say what's in this room. go back to my thingamajig. All right, so 4 is it's a safe room. There's nothing to speak of. All right. So we're just gonna dump that here. And turn down the size to like 11 point. Ooh. Okay, well, now we know. It's okay, nothing to speak of. Okay. I don't know why I'm rolling dice, by the way. Thank you, Caspa. It's you're helping us with this make-believe game that we're playing. Was it on a D20? Well, because somebody else rolled a D6. Okay, well, the odds were kind of stacked or weighted. Let's roll another D20 this time and see if we end up see what we want to do for the next room, and also where we want to go. So we'll say that there's one room here that we can go. There's one room here, and there's one room down here. Henry got a 12. So let's go back to this. It's a key item. So it's a one of these items. We're just going to say that's the Banishing Blade. And okay, well, I should have chosen where I wanted to go first, because now I'm kind of metagaming it a little bit. But we'll just, well, I guess it would, let's say that we kept going for some reason. And we're going to drop, I'm going to call this the Banishing Blade. So we picked that up in this room. Somebody hit me again with another roll. And this time we're going to go, we're going to go down to the middle. I'm just going to put these paths here. And then let me know what you get on the D20. 20. So sorry. What is the 20? I can't remember. Monster, defense 8, hit once. Okay. It's a whole it's a whole tower that wants to stomp you. Okay. So we're here in the middle. So we know that your 20 is yeah, it's time to get crushed, I guess. Okay, so we have to hit this. So we have 3d6 as far as our health pool. I'm gonna write that down up here. So we have 3d6 is our health pool. We do have the Banishing Blade, so it could potentially be another 1d6 if we wanted to, but it would waste it. But to hit a defensive 8, we can try to roll. Hey, Casbah, if you have a d6, could you roll it 3 times and let me know what the result is? And let's see, in Henry, if we survive this, let me know what the next D20 roll is. And we'll go down to this area here on the bottom. $13 on the D20. Okay. Casbah, if you're not around, why don't we have somebody else do a backup roll? I need 3d6. And just the total result of that. I should actually just pull that up on the side as a backup. Okay, but a 13 on the d20 will be... a monster. It's a sleeping giant here. No ones from Henry. Okay. So I feel like... Okay, well, part of me feels like this is super easy at this point. Okay, well, that's if... So if we go there, let's see if we can... So you got a 12. So we hit it once. Maybe we need to jack up the difficulty because that definitely... I'll put it on a new layer. That definitely kills it. So bleh. So we win. Yeah, for shame. For shame, Henry. Okay, so this monster we have to hit twice. It's got a defense of 6. Very easy for us to do. I feel like we just take on the boss at this point. Let's see. Okay, so we're here now. And I'll roll the 3d6 just to see what I come... Wait. I guess I didn't really need to use 3d6, but I did. Came up with a total of 13, but I did get a 1 on one of the die. So at that point, one of my... okay, this might get obnoxious pretty quickly, but one of my d4s, or rather my d6s is now a d4. So I have one d4, and I have 2 d6s. I have to hit it twice, so I'm going to try to hit it again. And I'm not going to roll the d4. I'm just going to roll 2 of the d6s and then see if we can surpass 6. So if I go to my dice roller, then I look, boom, boom. I got a 1 and a 4. Okay, so not only does that not pass, I end up in a situation where I now have 2d4 and 1d6. So now I'm stuck with a decision. If I want to defeat the sleeping giant, because I have to hit it one more time and pass a 6, I could roll 2d4 and then potentially lose my d4, or I can roll a 1d6, or I can use the Banishing Blade, which I may as well just do because I don't think that I'm going to be able to fight the boss at this point. So I'll roll 2d6. So I'll use my Banishing Blade, and then I'm going to roll 1d6 again. And I'm just hoping, maybe I should just roll 3 die. Okay, so I got a 5 and a 4, which is a 9. And that defeats the boss, or rather not the boss, the okay, so I lost the Banishing Blade, and then I beat this sleeping giant. So that was oh, what did you roll to get the sleeping giant? 13, right? Okay, so that's donezo. But I only have this left. If only you found a soft pillow in one of the earlier rooms to gift the giant. Might go back to sleep. There you go. Not rolling 1d4 seems like a strat, but now it seems like we're kind of forced to. Yeah, so I wonder... So this is interesting because it makes me want to go back and see if I can go to earlier rooms to find easier encounters, and then see if I can get a fountain room to bring up some of my stats. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go like back through this room, back through this room. Somebody roll me 1d20 and let me know what's in this room right here. And then we'll and hopefully it's a fountain. And then we can kind of bump up these die a little bit and give us a fighting chance for stuff later. I think it's on you, Henry. 15. What is a 15? Let's see. $15 is a fountain. Hey, it's a fountain room. Are you cheating, Henry? Just trying to make my life easy. Okay, so here's the fountain room. All of our die go back up by 1. So actually this is going to be a 1d8 at this point. And then these 2d4 are going to be 2d6. Which, okay, Henry swears he's not. I believe him. Okay. What layer is this on? Nope. This one? Yeah, okay. Chaos. Disorganized. Okay, cool. So we went through that room, the fountain room. Why don't we go try, let's see, 1d8. Let me know what's in this room down here, Henry, if you don't mind. Go to this bottom one right here. I feel like this is pretty good outcomes so far. Oh, you know what? I know what's in this room. It has to be a key item. So we don't even need to roll. It's going to be just the other, like the Aegis. Because of we were talking about tiers. Like this is always going to have a key item in it. This is always going to have a key item in it. And now it makes me wonder if we should actually be doing that. But let's play it with the rules as written. And then after that, I'll go down here. And we'll go with the 10. So I'm going to say this is a key, which will be, for our purposes, not the Banishing Blade, but we will We're going to call it the Aegis of Dales, because words, and it means nothing to me. Safe room. Wow. Maybe I need to remove these safe rooms. Maybe it should just be like one safe room in the entire dungeon. But I have a very limited play experience currently, so who knows? Who really knows? Okay. It could have something and a key item, not just. Oh, right. Yeah. No, that's way better, Mars. Let's do that. Okay. Well, in this case, it would have been a safe room and a key. So somebody give me another d20 roll, and then we'll go to this room. I'm actually gonna move the safe room back up to. I feel like the safe room should have some kind of function to it. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I wonder, or maybe we can just remove them. 15. Okay. So I'm gonna move this just over here for now. And that's kind of weird too, right? Where it's just like room, but also key. 15 was used. Oh, okay. Yeah, 15 is fountain room. Okay. 11. Got it. Let's see what 11 is. The monster hit thrice. It's a horde of skeletons. Okay, so let's get all them skellies. Skeletons. Although the key items combo with rooms, that'll make it feel like if the key items combo with rooms, that'll make it feel like a free key item room, basically. Yeah, and I think that's fine. But something like this, yeah, we should definitely solve for it in some way. Maybe, or maybe we just put like one safe room on the map ever. Maybe it's always safe room and key item, and then just other ones have key items. I don't know. Okay, let's do 11. Okay, here, I'll roll this one because I now have I have 2d6 and 1d8. Oh, and then plus another d8 from the Aegis that we could use. Oh, that's a really weird looking everything. 1d8, very nice. Okay, from the Aegis, and I just have a defense of 2. So I'm not even gonna. I feel like my chances are pretty good if I just roll the d8. So I'm just gonna roll the d8 and see if we can hit this thing multiple times. I might regret that, but I want to limit my damage, right? Because I don't want to put myself in harm's way if I can help it. Okay, so I got a 5, so that's one hit. And then I got a 4, so that's another hit. And then I got a 2, so that's another hit. So I cut through this horde of skeletons and take no damage for myself. It would have been much riskier if I only had d4s, or much riskier if I only had a d6. Okay, so I mean, we're getting really close to the boss at this point, and it kind of makes me wonder if I even need to run it again. Banishing Blades up here, Eggs of the Dales is here, so we need to figure out what's in this room and what's in this room. Okay, so 6, we're going to go down here, and that is as a key item. Okay, so that'll be another 1d8. Nope. What did I do? 1d8. It's a d6. Lies. Deception. Cool. And yeah, it says key item, but it's not associated with the room, which that feels weird. So why don't, yeah, I think we should probably just remove the words key item, and we'll, okay, could add a 1 here. And then we'll swap them out, and I'll do that after. So the slime ball, we're gonna beat up the slime ball. Oops. Okay, defensive 4, hit once. At this point, I feel like I do need to have escalating difficulty, because at this point, that was for the next room. Yeah, but there was like a key. Okay, I'm changing the rules on the fly, which I probably shouldn't do. But if because I just got the key for free, you know, and it wasn't associated with the room, which even like describing it doesn't sound right. But defensive 4, hit once. I mean, I can roll. Honestly, I just want to roll the d8 again, and then see if I can hit it once. I feel like these creatures need more health. I'm just gonna do that though. I'm gonna roll the d8 and see what happens. So I'm gonna a 4. Okay, so it hit it once, and then it's dead, and I don't do any risk to myself, which makes me think that maybe you shouldn't go up and die. Maybe you should just add d6s, because d6s feel way more perilous, and even if you have more of them, it's the chances of it being reduced is much greater risk. So I think we're gonna do that the next go around. Give me one last room. We'll see what we end up with. Because now let's step over the giant's body. Actually, okay, well, we already know that we've defeated these. 2 for the final room. Okay. And this is very likely to be an easy challenge since that's kind of how we organize these. Okay, so defensive 4 hit twice. Gargoyle. I'm just gonna roll my D8 a couple more times. I got a 3. Okay, so that doesn't hit. What happens if you don't hit? Do we automatically downgrade a die, or do you just like roll again? I think you just roll again. 7, so that's 1 hit, and then a 4, so that's the other hit. And at no real risk to myself, it feels like, just because I have a D8 opposed to a D6, and the odds are way different. Dead. Okay, so it is gone now. And what was it? Gargoyle? I think it was a gargoyle. Okay. And now I'm going to get to, I'll fill this out real quick. Okay. Defense 4, hit twice. Yeah, the D8 is like, it's wicked overpowered. So originally we had said like, oh, there's 3 different paths and you don't know where the boss is. It could either be like here, or it could be here, or it could be here. And if you do something like that where there's no bridge in between it, it would force the player to kind of go through. Actually, and this is, I would have picked up another key item, right? Or did I already do that? Oh, I already did that. The key is down here. Hey, John. Yeah, it's okay. None of us know what's going on. I've been building a quick game just on the fly. And it's a, let's see, how do we describe it? Enter name here is a fantasy dungeon crawler where the player is an adventurer being unwittingly sacrificed to a devouring horror dwelling beneath the town. The adventurer struggles to survive multiple rooms of increasing difficulty until they eventually encounter the horror. The caveat that we didn't throw in here, and we'll have to rephrase this, is the adventurer is stuck in a time loop where they begin at the start of the dungeon with knowledge of the rooms they crawl through. Defeating the horror will release the adventurer from this fate. There we go. That's a big paragraph, but yeah, struggles with heavy quotes currently. Need to jack up the difficulty for sure. But this is looking pretty good. So the boss is in one of these rooms. We didn't actually figure out how to determine that though. So why don't we just say that, okay, the boss, I'm just going to say that it just routes you to the boss. And you can, so we'll fight the boss. Boss has, it takes 3 hits, and the defense is, what was the defense? 15? I can't remember. Oh, the defense of the devouring horror is 30. But it needs to be, oh, let's say and. It needs to be hit 3 times. So we have to beat a 30 3 times in a row. which I don't actually think that we can. So 6, 12, 24 plus 8 on the top. So the maximum that we can get if we roll really well on all of our die is a 32. So I think you might be right, Henry. So I'm gonna roll just behind the scenes here. I'm rolling 4d6 total and 1d8, which we've already talked about. We should just probably remove that and turn it into another d6. But for the time being, this is what we're going to be fighting the monster with, and we need to beat a 30, which is very, very high. Okay, so I'm going to roll my d8. Let's see, and then 46, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing this off screen, but you can trust me that I got a 15. So 15. Oh, here's, okay. This is interesting because if you just keep rolling that over and over and over, you could be stuck in a situation where you don't actually lose anything. I just rolled again. I got a 10, and then one of those was a 1. So it'd be, and this is going to be, again, super obnoxious. So I have 1 d4 now, 2d, imagine that's a d, 2d6, and then 1d8. And then 2 of these are actually weapons, so they won't degrade. Then I'm going to roll it again. I got another 1 and only a 12. So, I rolled it again instead of whatever. So now I'm to the point where I can't actually beat the boss because my die will have degraded. So that's the game. We walked into the boss, tried to take a swing at it, can't take a swing at it, or rather try again, roll a 1, our health degrades. Basically, we're fighting a losing battle, and at that point, I can't even beat the boss anymore. So some things that I'm seeing that we need to clean up are, instead of, so the fountain rooms, first off, we're going to say adds 1d6 to your health pool. Adds 1d6 to your health pool, and any d4 becomes a d6. So this is the healing that you're doing from the fountains. There are potentially 3 of these, which seems really strong. Well, you're not going to walk into them a lot. The safe rooms probably shouldn't be safe rooms. They should probably just be more monsters or something. And the key items are going to be in the 3 rooms anyway. So I don't think that we need to 5 minutes to come up with the magic mechanic. Okay. Well, it's 5:44 currently on my time. So I think I have actually about 17 minutes if I'm really paying attention to the clock. So let's say that one of these monsters are difficult to, like, super difficult to hit. Can you flee from encounters? No, probably not. I think you need to kind of like get into it. I'm gonna hit this one once. It's gonna be a let's see, hit this one 3 times. Dragon Lang. And I'm gonna replace this one with a monster too. Stream duration. Yeah, I started the stream early. The actual timer on my time is 6:02. Is when yeah, okay, let's do it. We're gonna say that this is a griffin. And what if? Okay, well, I don't want to start adding mechanics, but wouldn't it be interesting if you found somebody else down here that that can help you a little bit? I feel like that's, man, okay, that seems like fun. Like finding like a hireling or like a sidekick that's just like, yeah, they threw me down here and I've been stuck down here trying to survive, and they just add a little d4 to your roll. Okay, and then we'll say this is a 10. I gotta hit it twice. Just throwing out numbers. We're gonna say it's a corrupted griffin because I don't want to kill griffins. And then we'll add another monster down here. So the defense is 5. You've got to hit it 3 times. And it's a pack of goblins. And the safe room, I don't know, what could the safe room be? Maybe the fountain and the adds 1d6 to your health pool. Maybe those are 2 separate rooms. So if you hit a fountain room, maybe any d4 becomes a d6. And then any safe room is adds a d6 to your health pool. So like it wouldn't even necessarily be a safe room. Maybe it's a the safe room could reveal adjacent rooms without having to face check them. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but then after you use it once, it's no longer a part of your run anymore. And I like the idea of somebody routing themselves through to get some sort of benefit. Maybe it's maybe this is like the hireling situation where somebody's like fawning over your, I don't know, maybe. Okay, well, I like the idea of adding a d6 to your health pool. But at the same time, our weapons already do that, right? I'm going to say that it's, this is an ally. Companion adds a d4 to your health pool. Or adds a d4 to your attacks and can't benefit from fountains. Does that seem legit? Kind of. Adds a little sugar on the top, or you just, like, if you know they're not going to benefit, you're either going to save them to roll against, oh, yeah, I guess it's against the boss at that point. Or to overcome a bad situation, you're sacrificing them at that point. Or what if there's, okay, what if it's the other direction? It's a trap. 1 die immediately degrades. Health pool die immediately degrades. So, oops, another fountain room. Hopefully you're not like, you don't have a wall of these that you need to run into, but maybe you're like, you run into the room, it's a pit trap, and you have to climb your way out of it. You lose at least a health die. And then you're like, okay, well, I can't go there anymore. Actually, what if it's, part of me is like, if you ever go back through the space, then you lose another health die, but probably doesn't make sense. Yeah, so 1 die immediately degrades. And then that way, when the player learns it, it's giving them incentive to just like, okay, start over. I already know. Or like, now I know that that's there. I'm not going to deal with it. And they have to navigate a way around. I'm wondering if the whole respawning mechanic could be chopped. I don't think so. I think that this is good. I think that there needs to be more punishment so that the player has to strategically figure out what to do. I want to have the cloak to descend gently to avoid the bit of damage. Yeah, I think we're starting to get into like... So I think that that's a good idea. It'd be cool to have different items that do different things, can deal with different targets. And also, one, don't think we have enough time for it. Two, I think this is pretty okay as far as just a fun little game that you can play. And let's see. And I think this works. I would need to play test it some more. We're unfortunately running up against the end of our time. I have another 10 minutes actually, or we could just try to format it. You want to do that? Let's just jam it into a document and see if I can pull that off real quick. I don't know if I can. The most important part. What's the name? Hello, everything is bad as dungeon. Doom run a dungeon. Bad times in Loopyville. I don't know what to call it. And instead of fantasy, we'll say is a fast-paced solo dungeon crawl. I'll call it a roguelite, where the player through I wonder if the lore even matters. Where the player instead of the player, it's too abstract and removed, where you've been unwittingly sacrificed to a devouring horror dwelling beneath the town. You're trapped in a dungeon with multiple rooms. It's increasing difficulty is with deadly monsters and equally deadly traps. Wait, you're trapped in a dungeon with deadly monsters, and I feel like I've jacked this all up. It's okay. Gauntlets and groundhogs. Oh my goodness. Everything is bad, a roguelite. Okay. Gauntlets and groundhogs. That's really funny. Let's say Doom Loop, which is what you would call something, I don't know, like in the games industry, just when you're like caught in a doom loop. I think it's a broader term, but you're like trying to create content so that you can get to create more content, so that you can get to create more content, to pay the bills to create the content. It's just never ending. You're trapped in a dungeon with deadly monsters and equally deadly traps. dungeon with why uniquely deadly traps, multiple rooms with deadly monsters and traps. You're trapped in a dungeon with deadly monsters and traps and entangled in a time loop that resets you to the beginning of the dungeon with each death. You retain your memories of what lie within of the of what lay within, but cannot break free from your fate without first slaying the horror at the dungeon's end. Okay. Meh. Not super compelling, but Sisyphean. Yeah, seems that way. Okay. So we're going to do... Okay, I have very, very limited time now. We're going to do a quick border for this game. Why? Because it's amusing to me personally. Let's do something like this. A little bit of this action here. It's this is going to be kind of, I don't even know what's going on. It's fine. You're witnessing art right now, so please stop criticizing. And then, totally kidding. And we're going to go down this direction over here. It's going to be kind of stalagmite-esque, I think. Maybe. I don't know. It looks a little bit too much like slime. You can't see it yet. You will. Oh, you will. And, okay, so let's do some of this. Throw some of this in here. This is probably the most important part of this particular document. And then I'm going to draw a little bit of... there's like more stalagmites. These are stalagmites. Tights? Stalagmites. Up against the ground. And then for no reason at all, there's going to be like fire over here. And it's all going to be black and edgy. So that's what's happening at the moment. Cool. This is it's way too close. We need to take your space. This is a very important part of the process. VTS, back me up on this. This is very, very important. Okay, hold on. Go back to my big dumb face real quick. Let's say border. Rogue light TTRPG border. Save that in a place where it probably shouldn't be saved. And then I'm going to throw that on the desktop. And let's open Affinity. New. I feel like this may be... Okay, let's go back to here. You can see that. Okay, cool. Actually, no. I'll give you just a moment. If anyone has an interest in donating via Super Chat, it would be super appreciated as we're trying to get new lineage art for Distal. you all contribute a lot as it is, so I'm just kind of throwing this out in general. But yeah, any help is super appreciated. Okay, let's get back to. Is this it? This is it. There we go. We did it. We're gonna call this. What do we call it? It's not. It's Doom Loop, right? Doom Loop. We don't even have styles because I didn't open my document. It's okay. We'll find something. I'm gonna use some League Spartan. I have 1 minute left. It's not gonna work. Does that look edgy enough? Possibly. Oh, it's too much. Too muchy. Okay. There we go. I think that's pretty good. You can tell I'm a professional. And then we're gonna just dump a whole bunch of information from here. Just dumping it in. Thank you, VTS. Much appreciated. Let's see if I can just vomit. But oh man, a bunch of information in here. Let's go make it what, 11 point? Too much, too little? Okay. Let's say. Oh, man, it's so bad. Okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't write this in such a way that it's that it could be copied and pasted. But this is a single player. This is a single player experience. Okay, I'm over time by 1 minute. It's okay. It's okay. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get this right. So I should just I should stop freaking out about it. Collect. The relics of fallen heroes to defeat the devouring, or it could use a better name. There needs to be like a how to play somewhere here. And I'll say that your health is your strength. We did design it in 2 hours, I'd say. There you go. Okay, can we move that? Oh no. Why is my no, baseline grid's not on. It's just ridiculous. Ugh. Okay, this will take me forever to do. But you know what? I'm gonna clean up this game. And I will, okay, I'll clean it up a little bit. I'm not gonna clean it up a lot. But then I'll make it a downloadable on the Patreon for anybody who's there. If you want to, if you want to play it, whatever, I'll throw it up on Patreon, and we'll just laugh about it, I guess. I don't know. I think it could actually be fun, but it does need a little bit more love and a little bit more play testing, certainly. But I think that's it. I think that's where I'm gonna call it for tonight. Thank you all for helping. I think this is actually pretty. I think this is pretty legit. My dog is groaning over there, so maybe they don't agree, but that's pretty good. Thank you all for hanging out. And I had a lot of fun putting this together. Definitely feel a little bit panicky. I don't know if I would have done better or worse with the prompts that were that JFace has in his Discord, but maybe that's something that we can do next time. And yeah, I'm currently, as far as Distal works, I'm just going to keep hammering on the quick start guide, and that hopefully get that done within the next week or so. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. I'll catch you later.